Ladies and gentlemen, and can I particularly acknowledge the presence of His Excellency, the Malaysian High Commissioner, and ladies and gentlemen from media, both in Australia and representing countries from around the world. I'm joined today by Martin Dolan, who's the Chief Commissioner of the Australian Transport Safety Bureau, to give you an update on the search for Malaysian Airlines flight MH370. You'll be aware that this aircraft disappeared on the 8th of March 2014 with 239 people on board, 6 of whom were Australian citizens. The fate of this aircraft and those on board, of course, has been the subject of international attention and concern for the entire world. At the request of the Malaysian government, Australia continues to lead the search effort. Since the 26th of June 2014, our attention has been primarily focused on a 60,000 square kilometre high priority search area in the southern Indian Ocean, and that's indicated on the map on the easel to my right. 2 vessels have been undertaking bathymetric survey work in that area, an Australian contracted vessel and a Chinese PLA Navy survey vessel. At the present time, they've completed about 60% of that survey work. Around 32,000 square kilometres have been mapped since April, and that work is continuing. But today I can announce the outcome of the tender process to select a prime contractor to manage the deep water search. The underwater search will aim to locate the aircraft and any evidence such as debris and flight recorders to assist the Malaysian investigation team on the disappearance of MH370. ATS has evaluated the tenders received and have selected Fugro Survey Proprietary Limited as offering the best value for money technical solution to perform this complex activity. The Malaysian government have also offered equipment which will participate in that search, and of course there's a Chinese vessel already operating in that area in relation to the survey. Now, I had expected that my Malaysian counterpart, Minister Liao, would have been with me today. However, obviously his attention has been taken by the disappearance of MH17. I am anticipating that he will be in Australia later in the month, and we will have an opportunity then to talk about future arrangements in relation to the search and how it should proceed. I remain cautiously optimistic that we will locate the missing aircraft within the priority search area. This search will obviously be a challenging one. Fugro will use 2 vessels equipped with towed deep water vehicles and carrying expert personnel to undertake the search operations. The vessels will search the seafloor using side scan sonars, multi-beam echo sounders and video cameras to locate and identify the debris. Fugro is a Dutch company but has a significant Perth-based operation, and so they're familiar with the Australian operations. I can't say they're familiar with this search area because this is rather outside of the areas that have normally been surveyed or mapped, and therefore a lot of the work that has to be undertaken will be in areas, of course, new to the search team. They have the Fugro Equator is currently one of the vessels that's working on the mapping, and the Fugro Discovery is currently en route to Perth from the United Kingdom to participate in this search. Now, clearly, it's not clear how long that search will take. We would hope, obviously, to find the vessel, to find the aircraft on the first day, but it could, in fact, take a year to search the entire area, and of course, the weather conditions will have an impact on what time will be required to complete the task. This is the most prospective area. It's been chosen on the basis of the best expert advice. Now we intend to search it thoroughly and hopefully we'll find the aircraft or a debris field or traces of where the aircraft has entered into the water, so that we can provide a closure to the families involved and information to support the investigation, so that the world will know what happened that led to the fate of this particular aircraft. Now, Martin, if you'd like to add anything, otherwise I'll invite people to ask questions.
I think you've covered it fully, Deputy Prime Minister, but happy to assist in answering questions.
Are there any questions?
When you spoke to us, I think it was last month, you suggested that there may be some possibility that the mapping of the ocean floor could pick up an anomaly. Has anything shown up to date?
To date, some anomalies related to the geology of the ocean floor have shown up, which really indicate that there are going to be one or two areas that will be more challenging to search and will require a more thorough search. But that's all that's been detected to this point.
From the survey that you've done so far, can you give us an updated idea of what the topography is like? What's the seafloor like?
To the north of the orange zone, it's comparatively flat and deep, and it rises progressively towards what you can see there, that ridge, broken ridge. So from a depth of something like 4,800 metres to the north, it gets to as low as 1,500 metres to the south, and the terrain becomes more difficult. We haven't completed the mapping, so we're still discovering detailed features that we had no knowledge of, underwater volcanoes and various other things. So we're finding some surprises as we go through.
And sorry, that's 1,500 metres below sea level.
Correct.
So it rises quite steeply.
Yes, and it rises essentially to the south reasonably consistently, but with some undulation and unexpected
And
features.
there likely to be canyons or valleys that could hide an aircraft and make it hard to find.
Yes, and that's my point about the anomalies are really about detecting those areas that require more careful search and more detailed attention.
I think what's been discovered demonstrates why this mapping was so necessary. The ocean is not just simply flat and featureless. There's quite a lot of geological features there that will be a challenge in the search, but we needed to be identified to make it actually possible to undertake the sonar work that's going to occur from now on.
Can I ask what the contract with Fugro is worth, and just can you give us an overall picture of what the whole operation is costing and how those costs are being carved up with other governments?
Well, we've given some general figures in the past about what we've set aside of the order of in excess of $80 million, $80 to $90 million. The size of this contract will depend on how long we're in the water. If we need to spend 12 months, it'll be of the order of $52 million. But if we can find it on the first day, well, then obviously there'll still be substantial establishment costs, but it would be much less than the time taken if we take the whole year to undertake the search.
And just on, are there other governments contributing to that contract?
Well, Malaysia has, as I mentioned earlier, has indicated its intention to provide some assets, some sonar equipment and the like to assist in the search. I would expect to discuss those sorts of issues with my Malaysian counterpart when he comes to Australia later this month.
Could Mr. Dolan explain to us how this equipment will work in layman's terms, and what it'll basically see, for want of a better word?
In the simplest possible description, which is to oversimplify it, there will be towed vessels behind ships, which will deploy sonar equipment, side-scan sonar, which will give a sonar picture of the seafloor in detail, which will need to be analysed both on board the vessel and ashore in Australia. And so it's the expert attention to the data that's being picked up by the sonar is a very important part of this. And the review of the data when it's ashore is also important to make sure that we haven't missed something. But the basic technique is sonar signals turned into data and then analysed to get a picture of what's going on. Areas of particular interest, we're likely to get some video examination of as well, using the same towed vessel.